Welcome to the Purity Pulse podcast, your go-to podcast for the natural health industry and everything Purity Life. I'm Erin Macklin.
And I'm Julie Drapeau.
Today, we're going to go through our regular weekly check-ins. We're going to have a great interview with Amanda Santalucia, one of our key account reps. And then we'll do some new to Purity Life. So Amanda is on the road a lot. I mean, even though she's a key account, she's still on the road. Now, you have had experience being on the road.
Yeah, just a couple of years.
Yeah.
More than now 25, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I started, actually, if I just talk about my experience with Purity, because even before that, I was on the road for the dark side and the non-natural cosmetics. But with Purity, I started as a part-time rep in Quebec City.
Right.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
I always love to be...
I mean, you still like to travel. You just like to be on the move, right?
Oh, yeah, exactly. And I still love... I was just in a store this week, actually, and somebody from the team gave a training on antibodies.
Right.
And, oh, my God, that was so hard for me to just stay put and just... And she's done a fantastic job, but I just feel like I want to jump in again. I just want to say something. I want to say something. I think the passion always been because I like to help retailers to do better. Yeah. That always been. Even when I was part-time, because I was doing my degree at the same time, I was working full-time. Yeah. Because I was going to the store and giving them advice right away to
that's the thing. I think when you're in there, you see things and you just want, we could do this. You could do this, right? Like that's just innate.
And I even said to a store, you need to remove that counter right there.
Yeah.
And the owner says, what? You want me to remove this counter there? And I said, yeah, because, it's blocking the way to those products. And I tell you. And again, I was just
messing with the flow.
Part-time for the company. And it started there. And then,
did they do it?
Yeah.
Nice.
They did. They absolutely did. And it really helped their sales.
Yeah.
And then I was in different store, on my knees, redoing all of their planograms and everything. And it's been many years.
That's a piece of it, right? Like when you're a rep, you're doing a little bit of everything, and you've got to be just as happy getting down and wiping off those bottom shelves as you are sitting behind a computer and creating a planogram, right?
Yeah, and the job of a rep has significantly changed.
Yes, even in my time, I've seen that.
Yeah, because I remember, back in time, you were taking orders to help with planogram was really something that nobody was doing. Yeah, we really started that. Yeah, even Purity has been, known for really being very good in the natural setting.
The above and beyond.
Exactly. Yeah. But then we didn't even have data. I mean, I moved to Toronto to be a sales here, and then I had a paper map. Yeah, I had to and then suddenly I realized that I was that was right in front of the train station, downtown Toronto, and cars were coming at me. And I'm like, I'm not going in the right way here. But just to say that, how it changed from having, to look on paper, wasting your time because you have to make your route. And now you have data from AI that comes to help you on how to maximize, helping your stores to perform better. Yeah. From nothing, scratching my head, looking at the order that they place on a piece of paper, trying to make out of, how sales are growing. Yeah.
Technology has made it a whole different world. It's a whole different ballgame.
Accelerated everything and made it a lot more precise.
And it feels a little bit like you need all of the skills that you needed then and then some. Because now you still need to be able to do all of that selling. You still need to be able to walk into a store and pinpoint this. Yes. But now you also need to be able to interpret the data and use the technology. And if you can't, then you're not going to be enough at the top of the game, right? You're going to get left behind.
And depending on the role, we have Amanda coming, speaking about a key account. So they definitely have to be very tenacious and very precise in the data. Where when you think about a sales rep, you think about somebody that can galvanize lots of energy, that can convince people. So often you have people that are very good and precise with numbers, and they will be really, that analytical mind. Yeah. They don't often, exactly. Or, being the cheerleader out there. Yeah. So finding people that have that both personality
to kind of dovetail.
Exactly. It's very, I would say it's very difficult, and even more difficult now. And there's also the fact that people think, I want to be in sales. This is cool.
Yeah.
But there's no stopping. As Amanda will talk later. I'm sure
this is going to blend into your everyday.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's there's big accounts, there's trade shows during the weekend, there's traveling.
Yeah.
So you need to be very good.
You're becoming a part of that. You're becoming a part of that retailer's support system.
Oh,
so if the retailer's calling it for support, you better be ready. You better be ready to show.
Somebody else will.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, so it's a lot. Yeah, it's a big job for sure.
So but it's such a fantastic job. When you love doing it, you just can't stop. It just gives energy just to be in store, being able to see the results. Just as many of us started in the industry, right?
Yeah.
We wanted to give products to help people to be healthier.
Yeah.
Well, it's that on steroids, because you do that for their health and the health of their customers.
Yeah.
But on top of that, you help people to be successful with their business.
Yeah.
And there's nothing better than that feeling, right?
Yeah.
So
I think that's why so many people come out of the retail, because you have that, you do gain that when you're in retail. You're helping individually. You get to be involved in each kind of individual. But when you take that step up, it's that blown up times 10, times 100, you're doing that, but then the next step and the next step.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get on with Amanda.
See what she has to say about it.
What she has to say about the role.
Amanda, we're so excited to have you. I feel like we've been talking about bringing you on for a long time, so I'm very happy that we're finally here and have you with us. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited.
Do you want to give us, maybe to start, a little bit of your background?
Yeah, absolutely. My passion for natural health started at a really young age. And similar to every founder story, it started with my own digestive issues.
Right.
So I remember being in high school in the cafeteria, going and having a muffin every morning, and then having these brutal stomach pains. Yeah. And I was like, this is not normal. What's happening?
Right.
And doctors couldn't figure it out. So I started working with a naturopath probably at 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
And pretty early actually. And the reason why I wanted to go that route is because I was being told nothing's wrong with you. You just, I don't know, you're having stomach pains. And that really stemmed my curiosity for well, why is this happening? What can we do about it? How can I fix it?
Yeah.
And how can I do it the natural way? So at a really young age, I really just started tapping into that.
Were your parents, because we talked to many guests and that's what they say, right? They either had an health issues or they were just, knowing other people that were in the industry. But most of them, as you will remember too, that their parents were into it too. So was that something in your family, or is zero at all, and you were just the
I was
the
the
rogue?
black sheep. Yeah. It's actually it's funny you mentioned that, Julie, because I found out before this was even a thing, I found out I was intolerant to gluten.
Okay.
And I was maybe, like I said, 15, and being Italian and going back to my family and being pasta, pizza, bread. It was who are you? We're disowning you. So
exactly.
What made you even kind of feel that pull to go the natural? Because you said you knew you wanted to do it natural, but if it wasn't in your family, was there something else around you where you were kind of exposed to that?
Yeah, like I said, I think just in conventional medicine, I kept, and my experience with family members, never having answers. It was oh, you feel this, here's a med for that symptom, here's something for this. It was always masking the symptoms.
Right.
But in my mind, I was that curiosity peaked, and I was no.
You kind of innately knew there was more.
What's the underlying source?
Right.
How can I fix this? There's no way I just can't eat these foods or can't feel good, right?
Yeah.
So I really was I want more answers, and then started with that naturopath and discovered a whole world of natural health and was intrigued instantly.
And so did you bring in too, because you studied in nutrition as well, correct?
Yes.
Yes. So
yes.
That brought you into that.
Yeah. So actually, great question. I went to school for sales and marketing originally, but my passion for health and nutrition was always there.
Yeah.
And after finishing sales and marketing, I was I need to pursue this. So I went back to school to become a holistic nutritionist. I worked in that field a little bit, and ironically enough, I worked in doctors' offices given my opinion on their whole outlook.
You weren't putting them in the other direction. Yeah, the doctor gave you this as a prescription, but here's what I suggest you to do.
I was actually consulting patients with chronic care issues, so like diabetes, cholesterol, blood sugar, everything like that. And I was giving them more natural alternatives. So while they were on medication and things as necessary, I was still coaching them on healthier lifestyle choices. Yeah. And what was really cool to see is we would do their blood work and they would see all their numbers being high. And if they actually really followed the regime or the protocol, their numbers within 3 months would lower. And that was really rewarding.
Yeah.
So
that's
that was
stimulating.
Cool.
It's funny because we almost have the same
journey.
Yeah, exactly. Because I did my degree in consumer sciences, which is sales and marketing together in Laval. And then I went back to do my holistic nutritionist as well.
Awesome.
And I think, I don't know for you, but the need and the want to get people better, healthier, I think that's what, and then in sales, we want to talk to as much people as possible, right? So that's what brought you into merging both, maybe? Was that the same path?
100%. And I think you said it exactly. Like now it's more so in sales when we have this amazing product. It's like, you guys got to try this. You got to get on it. But it really stemmed from before wanting to shake people and being like, no, you could do this a better way. So absolutely wanting to teach and educate people was a huge part of it. And it's funny. We just had this conversation, my partner and I, where like 15 years later, I'll be with like family or friends and they'll be like, oh, you know, coconut oil is really good for you. And he's like, where were they like 15 years ago when you were talking about this? So it's really funny how things happen full circle like that.
Yeah. So what was your start in sales from being with in medical kind of set? Exactly, to get into sales, really?
So I started working with a supplement company actually, and I was sales facing and also doing the educational piece. So like teaching about how to incorporate the supplements that I was selling into the overall regime.
So one brand, specialized.
One brand, exactly. Specialized brand. We actually distribute that brand still, a supplement brand. And I was primarily focused just on that one brand, as I mentioned. And then I remember being in stores a lot, Nature's Emporium, Goodness Me, and I actually discovered people working at Purity Life. Yeah. And when I learned all the products that Purity offers, I was like,
more options, more options. Exactly. I can fix more people.
Yes. I was like a kid in a candy store, but it was natural health products. And I was like, wow, blown away. So excited. And I remember interviewing with Cass and yourself because I was like, I need to work there. This is right up my alley. I love it. Options for everyone.
I still remember that. It's one of the people that I have interviewed that I will always remember. We had a conversation at Starbucks, and I always like to observe people. Like I'm very visual, and it's like she was speaking, but there was words coming out, and I was like, yeah, that's all good. And then we kept talking.
Just the passion coming through and the excitement?
The passion, the excitement. I could see that Amanda had really the fire in her, that she would be very driven and at the same time passionate for the industry and truly helping people, which to me was, okay, this is what we need. And it was a done deal. Like, we talked and I said, okay, that's all good.
You probably picked that energy up from me where I was like, it's funny because I remember interviewing for Purity and another company, like a natural health company, and I got the offer from them. But I think it was like over Christmas break or something. So I hadn't heard back from Purity yet. But I knew with everything in me that I needed to like work for Purity. So I was trying to buy time with them just in case is my plan B. And then when I heard back, I was like, I knew it. It's meant to be. I knew it was the best fit. So
and now you're a key account for Purity Life. So what's a typical journey, like a day in your life? Because that's...
is there a typical day?
Yeah, exactly. There's not, actually. No day is the same. I think that's what keeps that passion and fire as well, because nothing is mundane at all. I really look at like us in sales as being like entrepreneurs within the enterprise, if that makes sense. And we manage our customer base and we do things and we see what will work, what will not work. So every single day is different. And it really just depends on what projects I'm working on, what my clients have going on at that time. But I think the biggest part of the daily tasks is really the contribution to the full success story.
Right.
So we might be distribution and supply chain, but we're so much more than that.
I love to hear that. I always say that. We ship boxes, but we're way more than that.
Oh, 100%. When people ask me what I do, I'm like, okay, where do I start? I think we wear so many hats at Purity specifically, and our sales team is so strong in this, where we contribute to, new listings, brand expansion on shelves, being the middleman between the vendor and the customer. Yeah. Planning marketing and promotions, and then forecasting inventory to support those promotions, making sure we can actually deliver, to getting the orders on time, making sure it gets to the store on time. And then at the end of it, you see this beautiful end cap and these displays in store, and you're like, wow, it was part of that whole process. So
it sounds like you really have to be a bit of a jack of all trades.
Yes.
And kind of have your hands in all of the pieces, right? Like you're responsible then for each piece of that journey.
Yeah, and the nuance with the key account position, there's a lot more data.
Yes.
And we talked about working genius before. Tenacity is very important because you need to be very precise. There's lots of contracts. There's a lot more implication to those contracts. So Amanda has been very good and very diligent to look at all the dots on every file. And so that is part of the work too, right? The big portion.
Absolutely. Right? And being detail oriented and trying to make things more efficient when you can is a big part of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you think is your favorite part about that connection with the customer?
One of the best things for me is also being like a trusted advisor. When you develop a relationship after a certain point, like one of my retailers I've been working with for 5 years now, and they'll come to me and say like, how is this new brand doing? Or what do you think about this? And having that transparency with them and being like, you know what, this might not be a good fit for your demographic, or this is going to fly. I think that relationship and that trust is huge. And I love that. Yeah.
I love to hear that, because that's definitely something that we try to always give at Purity. It's being, because we have so many brands. And that's how, we can build that relationship and trust. And yes, we talk about trends, and generally speaking, what are the national trends and then what they are in your region. But then each key account or sales account manager would look into, what precisely for that account with their personality.
What will work, right? What works here might not work there.
Yeah, exactly.
And you mentioned trends, Julie, and that's a huge part of my day-to-day. And being active on social is necessary, right? Reels, TikTok, like your average Sally might talk about wild yam cream, that's the newest one, that cured her eczema or whatever. And then we feel that as the supplier, we're getting those orders, or a Kardashian might talk about something, and
the old castor oil is new again, and vice versa, and all those. But it is definitely part of staying on trends and understanding what's coming, and quickly, because we get the calls and the demands, and we need to have our category specialists that are looking for those products, which is very good.
Always.
Yeah.
And also identifying probably like what's going to be a one-hit wonder versus is this going to be a lasting trend?
Because there's a lot of that too.
Yes,
on
absolutely.
Social. So with the busy schedule, what do you do to relax and keep your mind aligned and everything?
I do hot yoga regularly.
Yeah.
I make it a point to walk or jog with my dog probably every day. And I horseback ride twice a week. Yeah.
Very active. And I heard you did a CrossFit class. I think.
Yes.
When will that be your favorite?
Julie was there, that's why.
We had a little, not a contest, but we had an agreement and we made it. So she did very well, actually.
It was an intro class, I would say. There was like skipping and some rope climbing.
No, let me tell you here. That was not an intro class. You did really well. And that was a real class, and you perform, and you just took the challenge and ran with it. So that's awesome.
Yeah. What's your favorite? Like, if you could do anything to stay active and stay fit, what would you want to do?
I'm really loving hot yoga right now.
Yeah.
I started like 7 months ago, and the mental and physical effects are huge, especially in my role where I need to disconnect, because it's not like a clock in, clock out, as you know. It's like you're on more hours than you're sleeping, right?
Yeah.
And so stepping away and having that time for my brain to shut off and really have that mind-body connection is huge. Yeah.
And you must need to really kind of schedule it in, because it's so easy to just get so kind of enveloped in your work, especially when you're that passionate, right?
Just this morning on my way here. Oh my goodness. Absolutely. Yeah. That's a very good point. I have to make it a point to schedule it in and block off my calendar. And I think that's what I love too about Purity is like you guys value fitness and taking care of your health. So you're like, you started at whatever time. If you need to step away and go for a walk or do what you have to do to move your body, it's important, and that's going to help us get the job done, right?
Absolutely. That's so key.
Horseback riding. Tell us a little bit more. How did you get into that?
That was very organic, actually. I was taking Cassandra, our regional sales manager, for her stepdaughter to go find a barn, who my friend actually coaches at. Okay. And then we randomly took a lesson, and that was in 2020, and I started there. I started there. Twice a week.
New passion.
Yeah.
And what would be something that nobody knows about you that would be surprise of a talent that you have?
A surprise talent. Ooh, you're putting me on the spot here.
I have one for you. Last year at CHFA, we were doing an activity as a group, and you killed it. Do you remember?
Yes, axe throwing. Oh my goodness.
I thought you were going to say line dancing. Axe throwing.
You know what? Axe throwing, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but target shooting. I'm very good at that. It's kind of similar. So.
Well, you're very precise, right? So, not only in the numbers, but just exactly.
Yes, I love it. My boyfriend and I, we go and we'll target shoot or skeet shoot. So there's moving targets in the air. Yeah. That's really fun. Get your frustrations out.
Yeah, and it's relaxing too. In a way, right? You're meditating.
Exactly. Yeah. You have to
be really focused and balanced, right? You can't be shaky.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it's really important to, I think, have that balance because we're always on. So to find things that you can really use as an outlet, it's very important to me.
Yeah, that's where you find when people talk about work-life balance, I always say, for me, it's integrating everything.
Yes.
Because when you're so passionate, like a lot of people in sales will be like that. There's no stopping.
Yeah.
No.
So you have to define that time.
Yep.
And I do the same, and that's what you were saying. Like through the day, if I need to hop and go do an exercise to just shut the mind and start again,
and come back to it,
and you're
you'll
way
be
better.
Stronger. Exactly.
Yeah. And often when there's stress or fire or there's too much, it's very good to disconnect because sometimes the email you will send or the solution that you will find might be a little better.
Yes.
Put it on pause. I always say, put that on pause. Go have a walk. I just said that to one of the managers. I said, just go have a walk and come back after.
Yeah.
She says, that was actually good.
It's so true. And yoga is really helpful for that because it actually comes into your everyday where you can go into a meditative state for a few minutes. And that's so important.
When you've got yourself up there, once you've trained your body enough, then you can kind of just flip that on, reset, and then
I'll text Julie. I just stood barefoot in the grass. I brought myself back, grounded,
and now things are going to be okay.
Before answering.
Exactly. And it's good to do that.
Yeah.
And we often do that because then it also makes you think. Because when you sent it to me, I think that was yesterday.
Yeah.
I looked at it and said, not a bad idea.
It helps. I'm telling you.
It does. It absolutely does. Yeah. It's everybody has their own thing they do, but when somebody else share it, it helps you to remind yourself to say, right.
Yeah.
I need to connect with nature. Yeah, it is.
It's inspiration.
It is.
Sure.
Well, we're certainly lucky to have you and this balance and this tenacity and everything you bring to this role. It's to Purity's advantage, absolutely, and to all of our customers' advantage as well.
Yeah, and I remember, and I'm repeating myself, of that meeting with you, and was absolutely one of the best shots. So thank you. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you both so much.
All right, let's do some new to Purity Life. So we've got new additions from Routine.
Yes,
which is exciting.
They always have a way to find something that is so special.
Yeah.
like some product that already exists, but they twist it in a way with different scent and a look that is always very appealing.
They do such a great job with the packaging and their marketing. There's always really fun little, you know,
a story. Storytelling. Yes.
Yeah. I love it. So we have hair, body, and atmosphere mists, and they will be having some kind of coordinating essential oil blends as well. So we wanted to play around with a little bit with the mists.
Yes, and what is great about the mist here is it's very light spray. And very, for those who are listening, the look of it is very, very catchy. Glass,
dark
black,
glass.
dark. And the pump is really easy to use.
Yeah, it is, eh? Yeah, I thought so too, actually. And has that great little twist. So if you're traveling with it, it's not going to spray in your bag, which I love.
You used it in your hair
earlier.
I
used it, yes. Yeah, it was getting a little bit frizzy and dry, and I spritzed them in. It did exactly what I wanted it to do.
So how's the texture? Because I'm always surprised with sprays like that. There's many that
you don't
your
want
hair
to sticky and weigh it down.
Yeah.
No, it was just enough. It was just enough oil to kind of give it a little bit of moisture.
Yeah, and the shine is really there too, which I experience with others, that it gets really it removes kind of the shine of your hair.
Some of the hair ones, really just, it looks like you just put a bunch of oil in your hair, right? Like it just doesn't work. But no, this is a great kind of light blend for it. And then you smell really pretty too.
I know. That's you don't even have to spray it in the room because you just emanate from your body and you're warmed. Exactly. What was your favorite? Do you have a favorite?
Well, you know what? It's all the scents are great, but we also had some fun because with all of their scents, now they have these little kind of, so this one, the class is warm, grounding, and divine. So not only does it smell fantastic, I like this one, but it also feels fitting.
And
then, so this was the one,
superstar.
This was the one that we found. So just before Julie walked in, we were going through these products and kind of reading through the 3 words. So this one is musky, warm, and alluring. This one is sweet, spicy, and delightful. So we were trying to find the match.
Yeah, the curator.
Then this one, the superstar, which is...
I'll let you read that.
Warm, rich, and iconic. And then in walked Julie, and it was just fitting. And I was like, yep, that's the one. And then sure enough.
And it's funny because even in store, that's what I like about the brand is you can really create something fun around it. And everybody likes to say what personality will reflect and is me. And so you can, play around with that. And definitely when you look at the name and then you spray it, it's fitting. Yeah. So somebody at Routine has a very good nose to match the name and the scent of it. Yeah. So that's coming around, I would say, to be sure, around CHFA time, they will have some
maybe earlier,
testings.
but definitely, they're going to do some sampling and testing out in the Purity Life aisle. So be sure to check it out there.
Absolutely.
And check it out now.
What a great episode with Amanda. That was so fun.
It was just as good as I knew it would be.
Well, subscribe to the show and we would absolutely love to hear from you. You can follow us on Instagram at Purity Life Health Product LP. And myself, JD_Girl Power.
And I'm at Erin G. Macklin. And come back next week when Julie and I are going to talk about customer link and the modern digital user experience.